Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for guitarlessons365.com. Got another classic from the 90s today. We're gonna learn how to do Closing Time by Semisonic. So I'm kind of, I believe there's a little bit of overdubs in this thing, but we're pretty much gonna be playing like Dan Wilson plays on the recording. I will talk a little bit about the, if there's an overdub, I think there. So if you have a second guitarist in your band, it'll kind of thicken up the sound a little bit, but we're gonna play it like Dan plays it live, which is gonna be, pretty much like the album as well. All right, now before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell so you can like and comment on the lessons and watch the lessons. That really helps. Watch them, comment on it. It really, really helps. And if you truly want to support what I do here on YouTube with all these song lessons, and you want to get even more out of it, learn even more about playing guitar, join my Guitar Academy. You're gonna see a link to that in the description below. Free 7-day trial by clicking that link, all right? And you get full access to the entire academy. All the courses, all platforms, anything. Right there from that link. And also I do a live stream every Saturday with just Academy members. So you can ask your questions every week and get them answered in real time. So please come join us. Free 7-day trial, grab it. All right, so let's jump into this. We're in standard tuning here. And we're gonna have this kind of intro, which is also a verse of the song. So it's mostly power chords, but he kind of, whenever he's transitioning up or whatever, moving, he's gonna play a power chord with the fifth in the bass. So what does that mean? Basically, the first one, you can play a G major, but it sounds like he's mostly avoiding that note, and he's just kind of hanging out with the power chord, this G power chord. So that's the third fret on the low E, fifth on the A, fifth on the D. And now when he moves up to this D power chord, typically you just play it with the fifth fret there on the A, seventh on the D, and seventh on the G. But he adds the fifth fret on the low E string as well. So it just kind of thickens up the sound a little bit, and he uses that trick for the next chord as well too. So we have this, just slides into that chord, by the way. And then what he does is he stays at the fifth fret and goes and plays the only true full major minor chord, this A minor chord, which is he's gonna be doing a bar here on now the fifth fret. And so it's the fifth fret on the A, seventh on the A, fifth fret on the A note, it's the fifth fret on the low E string, seventh fret on the A, seventh fret on the D, and like I said, we have that fifth fret there on the G being played in the bar as well. So it's really kind of sticks with those lower strings. He doesn't really do that full chord there. So we have this. So the next chord is the same thing that we did when we slid into this chord at the fifth fret, the D with the A in the bass, D power chord with basically the fifth in the bass. We do the same thing off of a C power chord. So we have the third fret there on the A, fifth fret on the D and the G, but also third fret on the low E. And then that gives us our four chords. So we have this for the intro and verse of the song. So after that, you just kind of resolve it. Like I said, if you want to sometimes add that fourth fret there on the G, that sounds fine. All right, now from there, we're gonna go to the chorus, which kicks into distortion. And this is where I feel like there's two guitars going on, just to thicken up the sound a little bit. So it sounds like this is what he does live here. So it looks like this. right, so this is just really kind of like a G power chord here, where we used to play the 3rd fret on the low E string. You're gonna mute that A string with the bottom of that middle finger, and then open D, open G, 3rd fret there on the B, and 3rd fret on the high E string. From there, we're gonna go to a regular D major chord, then an A minor. So, and then the 4th chord is going to be a C major chord, but with a 5th in the bass. So that's played like the 3rd fret here on the low E with your ring finger, the 3rd fret there on the A, the 2nd fret there on the D string, open G, 1st fret there on the B, open high E string. So that's the chorus. All right, from there we're back to the verse again. Same verse, same chorus, so nothing new there. Kind of just a kind of the clean guitar stuff, and then the same chorus. And then after the 2nd chorus, we have this really interesting section where the key changes real quickly. It looks like this. These are the chords that are there. All right, so there's a bass line there at the end, so I just kind of hold in that G as the bass line kind of does all the root movement. So we're going to start here with just a B flat major chord. So it's just like a standard, you can just use the same shape we did here to the G. It doesn't really have to be a full chord, just have to be a full bar, just kind of that same shape we did here at the 3rd fret but here at the 6th. So the 6th fret there on the low E, 8 on the A, 8 on the D, 7 on the G. Then you take that same chord down 2 frets. And then that same chord that we did before, which is that power chord with the 5th in the bass, that we did here at the 5th fret and 3rd fret, well, it's just played at the 6th. Slide into that. And then that same shape down here to the 3rd fret, which is the same thing that we did in the last chord in the verse. So we have just those 4 chords. You do that 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, that chord is going to resolve to that G. And that's when that little piano line comes in over that, and there's a bass line that starts here, and then he's going to strum the G again. That bass line keeps going. All right, so from there, we get to this thing where I kind of call it the octave riff, because this is where those big octaves come in. So it makes sense. Anyway, a real original name. Anyway, but there's a little bit of a buildup, like an open A string building into that, and then we have the part actually start, looks like this. Okay, so like I said, it kind of starts building up on that open A string. And then we get to the octaves. So this first octave, so octaves, if you're not familiar with them, they're great muting exercises because you have to mute all the strings around it. So first of all, I'm playing the note here at the 3rd fret on the A, and then the 5th fret there on the G. Now we want that note in the middle to be muted. So you're gonna mute that with the bottom of that index finger. So ideally, you would just hit those 3 strings, right? But only hear the 2 outside, because you're muting the 1 in the middle. But life doesn't work like that. You're gonna hit other strings, so you're gonna wanna mute everything that you're not playing, and you can do it all with your index finger. So basically, it's a great little muting exercise, so you can just do it with this one note. So all you're hearing there is that note that I'm holding at the 3rd fret on the A. I'm muting the string above it with the tip of my index finger just touching the bottom of the low E string. So it's muting that string. And then everything below this note, so from the 4th string all the way across, is being muted by the edge of my index finger. So therefore, I can hit all 6 strings, you're just gonna hear that one note. And then when we add this octave on top of it, which is the C, this is another C that we're adding on top, so that's the 5th fret there on the G. We can hit all the strings we want. You're only gonna hear those 2 notes. And then you've mastered octaves, and then you can move it around freely and you're not hearing all these extra notes. So after we talked about the octave, it's gonna play that note. It plays it, slides it up, keeping the muting and everything intact. Hit it, slide up to the 5th fret, then the 7th. So I'm kind of dictating, I'm telling you where the index finger is going, but the top note's coming along with it too, right? So 3, up to 5, 7, and then up to 10. Well, then when I come down and play, so that's just that G to the D, and then the A minor. And then we're gonna do this octave again, but we're gonna base it off the D string instead of the C string. I'm sorry, the C note, the A string. So we're gonna base this. This one's a little bit tougher because of the stretch that you have to do in the octave, and you can't obviously mute all the notes down here, so you're gonna kind of use your palm down here to mute the lower notes. But what I'm playing here is I'm playing the 2nd fret there on the D, and then the 5th fret there on the B. So that's how an octave shape is played across those 2 strings. And then you're gonna slide up to 4, 5, and then 9. So 2, 4, 5, 9. And back to the same 3 chords. So we're basically gonna take those 2 octave lines and kind of rotate them back and forth, but you're always hitting the G, D, and A minor in between each one. But so the first one's gonna be this octave line off the A string, then that G, D, A minor, then the other one. Then back to the G, D, A minor, then the octave line off the C, the A string. And then the other one. All right, so it goes for that for a little bit, and then we have basically the verse, and coming out of that part, the verse is just kind of played like 1.5 times and just then stops on the A minor the 2nd time through. So it's kind of like this. So just kind of strum that A minor and just kill it. And then it goes into the last chorus, which the last chorus is pretty much played the same way as the previous choruses, but they start adding the octave riff to it as well. So you've heard both of those, and that's what's going on in the chorus, just like the normal chorus riff, that kind of thing. That, and then into the Now, I told you before that I think there's a couple of guitars going on here at the chorus. I should have probably brought this up earlier, but if you have 2 guitar players, I think on the recording there's the way that Dan's playing it live, which I showed already. But I believe there's kind of a bar chord way that they're doing as well. It looks like this, because you can hear those voicings in there. So it's, so you can hear those voicings on there too. So it's the same progression. So if you want to add it, I recommend playing it like Dan does if you just have one guitar, because that's a big kind of bigger sounding, a little bit more open. And that's why he switches it that way during the chorus. But there is this that's going on with it on the original recording as well too. So it's just basically a regular G major bar chord here, the 3rd fret, bar at the 3rd, 4th fret on the G, 5th on the D, and the A. Then it goes to this D major chord. So really just the 4 middle strings, the 5th fret there on the A string, and then the 7th fret across the D, G, and the B. You can use just your ring finger for that. I use my pinky, but most people don't. And then to that same A minor. And then the same chord we did here, this D major shape, but for the C, the 3rd fret. So you can combine that with that. And then the chorus will really kind of come together. So it's basically just that last chorus is those 2 things going, and then you'll hear the kind of that section, that riff come back in as well, which we've already covered. And then at the end of the song, we just go to the verse, played twice, and then ending on a G chord. So it looks like this. All right, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.